me, which is just imitate what we see here, which is the bunches of grape in between the leaves. So we definitely should keep some where we think the grape were.
Okay, but sticking out.
Yeah, exactly as it was. I wouldn't think there was any different. I mean, here they're going down, so we don't have that problem. We just curve them, and we have. How distant is this from the red here? They are quite separated from the red.
This wonderful and colourful pouring jug, it was made near Florence in Tuscany in the Renaissance. It was probably used during festivities, either for pouring water or more probably wine during weddings. And this celebratory nature of the objects is shown by wonderful decoration, including flowers and fruit, and a wonderful background of porcelain-inspired motifs. And at the front, there's large the coat of arms of the Medici. You might have heard about the Medici, the rulers of Tuscany. They were wonderful collectors of ceramics. They loved ceramics of all types at their tables during the Renaissance. And this one particularly has the coronet of the Duke of Florence. So it helps us with the dating of this. And we know it was made before 1569. But think how old this object is. It's over 500 years. And it's in wonderful, brilliant colors, because the colors, as many other art objects, don't fade. Because the object is made of Maiolica, or tin glazed earthenware, which is a type of earthenware which is colored and painted with tin to make it white. And once the colors are applied, are fired at a very high temperature, over 1000 degrees. And once they're fired, they're fixed forever, really. And we still enjoy them now after so many centuries in their brightness, in the same way as when they left the kiln so long ago. This jug has had a successful life by very, very prominent objects in one of the tables of the Medici, but also, unfortunately, has been broken, as many, obviously, ceramic objects are quite fragile. So here today, we are conserving it, and we can admire the work of Tiago Oliveira, who has remade the whole of the spout, which was smashed, probably by pouring wine during one of the banquets. As we didn't have any information how the lip and the spout of the jug was made, we had to use other examples made at the same time to compare the decoration.
Here we have another example of a pharmacy jar which was completely missing its spout. Actually, when it came into the collection, and the way we saw it was like this. So no spout, and kind of the area around the spout was sort of abraded, very abraded and flattened. So you only saw the buff earthenware underneath the glazing. As it happens, the entire jar was also probably in many pieces and put back together. You can see a large crack here in this blank cartouche, but we had the entire jar conserved and restored by Tiago. But we didn't ask him to take it apart and put it back together because it was actually too solidly consolidated. However, he did add some consolidation where there were some large open cracks, and you can see areas where the glazing is kind of met by a little line, a thin line of his restoration. And it means that when you put your hand across the surface, there are kind of areas of unevenness, but the general look of it, we think, has been really successfully accomplished, because it doesn't look in those areas like it has been retouched. However, one thing we did want was, in accordance with a lot of theory in ceramic restoration, was to not add anything that looked too much like the original, so that the visitor would be tricked into thinking it was the original. Because after all, despite the fact that we are pretty sure this is very close to the original, we really had to take some executive decisions on how the spout was shaped, its exact size, and its exact decoration. And what Tiago did, we think very cleverly, was to create a spout that had the right proportions for this jar. What's wonderful about having an object this special and this important conserved and restored is that we can now display it in the gallery. And we can tell the story of the conservation, which I think people tend to be really interested in, but also it looks like an object that you don't need to focus on its, on its great, the wound that it had or the missing parts. It looks like a fine object, and it's an important piece of Maiolica.